Well, I want to thank everybody for coming and supporting me for my public speaking class. I want to also say that this in no way, shape, or form are the views of the Navy or any military entity whatsoever. This is just a speech I'm doing for school. I just want to put that out there just in case this makes it on YouTube or wherever. Imagine yourself getting ready for a trip to go to Vegas. You, your friends, packed your bags, got your plane tickets bought, you're on your way. You finally make it, and there's bright lights and casinos and sounds and everything. Everything you think of. It's Sin City, right? You go there, throw away money, drink, smoke, have a good time, maybe a few strip clubs here and there, maybe some go-go bars, just whatever your little heart desires. In Las Vegas, it's actually not legal to purchase a prostitute. In Nevada, the law reads that each county has the ability to determine whether or not prostitution is going to be legal within that county. The state has given them the option of legalizing or not. There are 17 counties in Nevada total. 10 of these counties are occupied by brothels. With that being said, I'm going to tell you the reasons why I believe that prostitution should be legalized. You're most likely wondering probably like, well, what is this guy thinking? Legalizing prostitution, you know, transmitting STDs, just more things could possibly go wrong. Prostitution is an oldest profession, and it has played a major role in history. The first mention of prostitution dates back to Sumerian times, about 4000 BC. So it's pretty old. Been around a long time. The word prostitute only appears in the Bible one time, and it states, "Do not degrade your daughter by making her a prostitute, or the land will turn to prostitution and be filled with wickedness." Although prostitution only appears once in the Bible, harlot, in other words, according to Bible.web, has used 122 times in the King James version of the Bible, as well as the term whore, whoredom, and whoring, used 83 times in the Old Testament, and 9 times in the New Testament. Mary Lindley Murray was one of the first known prostitutes per se in American history. In 1776, General Washington's troops retreated from the Battle of Brooklyn. British troops landed in Kips Bay with the intention to ambush Washington. Mary knew Washington's troops were on her land, and so what did she do? She invited the British troops in, and her daughters entertained the troops while allowing Washington's troops to escape the ambush. Mary Murray can be seen as a major historic deed for her prostitution. So basically, that just goes to show you that prostitution can be helpful in the time of need. Now, you're probably wondering how prostitution can account for economic growth. Prostitution is and always has been a major economic issue. Women turn to prostitution usually because of hardships. They need the money, feed their kids, feed their families, whatever. Especially now. Economic times are pretty hard. People are having a hard time with a job, unemployment rate's high. Why not, right? Nevada government gets as much as 25% of their business fees from brothels. And that accumulates to be about 20 to 50 million annually, depending on how well business is going. According to the BUG data, if brothels are legalized in all 50 states and government can implement regulations on prostitution by imposing taxes, say $2 per customer, Nevada alone can receive a whopping $3.2 million in income over the next 2 fiscal years. I mean, that's saying like, that's basically saying like more schools, more books for schools, more healthcare, more everything. I have a slide up here that goes to show you that even though things are bad for you, it doesn't mean they're bad for everyone. People who participate in smoking cigarettes contribute to about $13 billion in revenue every year. People who contribute to drinking alcohol, about $1.5 billion a year in revenue. People, and if you were to take that and put $4 a year, or I'm sorry, if you were to charge $4 in tax per person, then you would end up with about $160 million a year revenue. And also, you got to think too that there are only 30 brothels in the Nevada area that contribute this $3.2 million. So if all 50 states were legalized, you're probably quadrupling, if not more, the number of brothels out there in every state, bringing in a lot more revenue, and this number could easily be a lot higher than $160 million. The economic system, not just Nevada's alone, but many other nations rely on prostitution as well. Amsterdam, for instance, you can go there, smoke weed, and get hookers, prostitutes, and their tourism, all that contributes to their country's profit. Businesses are also a key supporter of prostitution. Men are rewarded for a good job by being given a night with a prostitute. Governments and businessmen entertain customers and diplomats with prostitutions, which can be portrayed in many ancient and modern films. With that being said, if the United States government legalized prostitution in all 50 states, regardless of moral values and negative opinions, the government can easily swing from taxes and business fees to half the federal deficit, therefore resulting in a partial fix in the downward spiral of the U.S. economy. Now that I've explained the positive growth that prostitution is legalized can incorporate, you must be wondering how prostitution can slow the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. In order for a brothel to operate in the state of Nevada, the regulations are rigorous. According to Dr. Randall Todd, brothel sex is extremely low risk, probably a lower risk than to pick someone up at a bar who you don't know. Required by Nevada law, brothels are required to register with the county. A medical checkup consists of weekly checks and chlamydia and gonorrhea and monthly checkups for syphilis and HIV. Employers are also have on person a certificate acknowledging the aforementioned from a doctor on hands at all times. So you go in, you want to get yourself a hooker, you can check their papers to verify they've been checked up. You go to a bar, you pick up a girl, she has nothing. You just take her word for it and hope for the best. And to slow down this progression of spread diseases, you have to use protection. Just like in Thailand, for instance, their HIV rate was huge and right around 98. And they enacted a law that says anybody who's using sex for business has to enforce use of protection. So they went from I think it was 16% to 8% HIV infection rate. If all 50 states incorporated Nevada's prostitution laws, the result of STDs and HIV cases would drop dramatically. To give you an idea, according to the Center of Disease Control, only 3 to 5% of STDs are prostitute-related, compared to 30 to 35%, which is teen-related. In summary, my point that I'm trying to make is not legalizing illicit prostitution that you all see on television, cops, but instead, I'm talking about legal, clean, and profitable prostitution, which is examples set forth by the state of Nevada and that of California. And that of California's street prostitution, which is caused mainly by poverty and drugs. With that being said, I'm sure the vast majority of prostitutes hate what they do, but in reality they have no way of escape. As I mentioned a second ago, poverty forces most of them into it, and the economic necessity keeps them there. Most of you can, in a sense of pride, say I would rather starve first, but most men do understand what life does to so many women. Therefore, if prostitution is a paying business, where cash flow can be incorporated into the economy and not in the hands of drug dealers, prostitution will always have the paying customers since the beginning of biblical times, and therefore needs a warm welcome into the U.S. business market. And that concludes my speech.